Let's get started. We are here in Saudi Arabia, the host of the G20 this year. So I'd like to start off by focusing on the youth here and then widen it out to a more global perspective with Henrietta from UNICEF. Your Royal Highness, I'd like to invite you to help us imagine the future here, first of all. How can youthful innovation and gifted students help shape the future of Saudi Arabia?
Well, first of all, I'm very honored and grateful for the invitation. I'm so humbled to be in the presence of His Highness Prince Faisal bin Bandar and Prince Mut'ab bin Abdullah, and for the audience, be it here or those who are virtual. I take great deal of honor and pride of the fact that I am the chair of the Board of Trustees of King Fahd University. And what a moment for me. And again, I would like to make sure that I bequeath the generation of today what I was bequeathed in 1977 when I and Amin and Nasser joined the very same university, had the same, again, dreams and imagination and hopes of what would become of our future, our personal future and our country future. But here you go. I believe now with the Vision 2030, we have gone beyond the idea of imagining to the notion of executing. And I think we lived years of imagining without executing. It's about time now that we are moving from imagining to executing. And what better tool in our kit than having to train, educate, and enable the young to be the forefronter for that future that they will have to develop for themselves. We cannot be so much humbled of how little we know when we are comparing ourselves then with what the new generation are aware of today. Thanks to the technologies, thanks to all the connectivities that has brought people together. We have young Saudi men and women who are truly connected with the whole world, have the similar aspiration, have the same expectations, and more important, it's our job as educators, me, myself, His Excellency, Dr. Hamid, our job is to be the enablers. At KFPUM, we have launched so many programs. It all talks about the future, the Vision 2030, and how we can equip these young cadets to be the foot soldiers of achieving that 2030 vision. So whatever you would see the university doing, has done over the last year or so, will be doing in the future. It will be a recognition also to the new learning process. This is not going to be a linear type of education. It will have to be multidisciplinary. This is not going to be a vertical approach. It will be more a talented approach, an alternative approach, a diverse approach, and an open learning approach where people would be thinking as opposed to be memorizing. If you see the diversity of the programs, be it undergraduate or graduate, you will see it more to do with technologies. And even that, we're not aspiring for a student to be more into a one discipline approach, but more of a multidisciplinary. We are aspiring to create, be involved in research, but certainly it would be a research to market, because again, in the energy industry, for example, myself, Amin here, can vouch that we need solutions. And we have quite a few programs at the energy industry and energy ecosystem that are full of challenges. We have the circular carbon economy, which will require at least 300 to 400 technologies that need to be developed. We have the renewal program with all its diversity, including industrialization, including battery. Again, it's quite challenging. We have a serious program which is called Sustainable Use of Hydrocarbon. Again, it requires no less than 150 different technologies. These things will never happen without the backup, the good researcher, the multidisciplinary, the group effort, and the university and the talent that we have to look after ever since their school days until they become the managers and the ministers of the future. So we have moved beyond imagining to being moved towards executing. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you. Your Royal Highness, given the challenges that we've heard about from Henrietta, from UNICEF, how is university education working towards some of these goals as well, and what new disciplines do you see emerging?
Well, I have a big list. My memory chip usually disappoints me when I'm in gatherings like this, but I will enumerate them. But beforehand, I think it is not about what you introduce in terms of disciplines. I think it is the approach that you introduce these disciplines. It is not enough to say we have this and that and this. It's more important to demonstrate how are you going to educate these new talents to possess the ability to think in these disciplines. Again, the memorization approach, we've done with it. You need to have thinkers as opposed to people that memorize and the vertical, as I call it, the vertical
Problem
level.
solvers.
You want to make them thinkers, you want to make them developers, and you want to make them creator and entrepreneur and pioneers. And they become the solution, the part of the solution. So it is not enough to put disciplines. The other thing, which is applicable in Saudi Arabia and in some other countries, do we need to be half-brainers or we use our full brain capacity? We have made the choice. The Vision 2030 made that choice, which is we will use all of our brain cells. You know what? Women has to be integrated in education. Women has to be involved in training. Women have to be, will be considered into our job creation programs. It is what I call it the half-brain society. We have went beyond that, and now we are operating with our full brain. So gender equality in our education is a must. I'm very proud this year that we have introduced our graduate program at KFPUM, which really equitably imposed a gender equality on those who have applied. By next September, we will have an undergraduate program, which will also be imposing gender equality, and it has been the first. I see amongst the audience here young Saudi talents. You have seen them celebrating with their friends and peers in this film that we have just seen. So the idea here is that we have to be mindful of the full capacity of Saudi Arabia and give everyone an equal opportunity. We are also have to ask ourselves the questions. Do we want to produce robots, create robots, or create a generation of robots? And I think we would probably all agree that we will be better off to enable these coming generations to be the builders of the new robots and to think intelligently and use their intelligence to be involved in intelligent thinking. And without facetiousness, I could just name you 35 programs, new programs introduced by KFPUM this year in this the 35 curricular items. Some of them Python, C programming, data science, including big data, data optimization, and so on. Artificial intelligence, machine learning, including fuzzy logic, and so on. And business, because you have to commingle these things. There are also additional disciplines, for example. Aside from the artificial intelligence, robots, and aside from machine learning, blockchain, cyber security, 3D printing, big data, non-metallic business analysis, computational material, quantum computing, hydrogen mobility, and so on. Even within the graduate program, again, an emphasis on artificial intelligence, data science, robot, autonomous systems, bioengineering, wireless communication and network, industrial catalysts, supply chain management, and so on and so on. Again, I have to emphasize, it is not about the disciplines that you introduce, it's how you will educate and how you will train and how would you enable the new and young generation.
Thank you. We are running out of time, but I'd like to ask each of you for a specific recommendation or a call to action on how we can empower youth for current and future skills and jobs. Your Royal Highness.
Well, I call it enabling youth. Empowering, I think it's a God gift. Humans are empowered because they are the creatures of God and they have the eligibility to be empowered. Enabling, it means creating the environment that would enable them to move forward. And as I said, to create the kit for them to master their own future and definitely master their own destiny. I cannot think of anything better than education. The incubators of education that should be created are incubators that allow for students to think and to imagine and to be creative and actually exhaust their creativity and exhaust their imagination, whereby and enhance it and enable it to grow even further, because otherwise we would not be able to create the generation that we truly want, which is a pioneering generation, a creative generation, without which I think we will fail and fail miserably.
Thank you.